Welcome back to RPTV Weekly News. I'm Thunder, and I'm thrilled to be joined by Jabin and Gabriel. Together we bring you the latest updates on stories and initiatives shaping Regent Park and its surrounding areas.
In this episode, we'll delve into the key events and community developments from July 19 to July 27. Stay tuned for the insights and updates that matter most to our community.
Honoring the legacy of Alice. Beloved Regent Park advocate. Residents rally against Sherbourne Street development. Regent Park demands road safety after fatal crosswalk crash. Remembering Lewis March, a champion for gun violence prevention and community empowerment. Affordable housing opens for unhoused Indigenous men in Toronto. Man injured after police shooting in Cabbagetown. Events and jobs in the Regent Park community.
Honoring the legacy of Alice, beloved Regent Park advocate. On Saturday, July 20th, the Regent Park community gathered to honor the life and legacy of Alice, a cherished member of Toronto Community Housing Corporation TCHC revitalization team, held in front of the Revitalization Engagement Office at 530 Dundas Street East. The memorial service brought together residents, colleagues, and friends to celebrate Alice's remarkable impact on their lives.
She was definitely a role model to many of us, and for me personally, I met Alice when I was starting out in the Youth Ambassadors program with Gabriel. And at the time, we were definitely too young to know anything about Revite and what we were doing, but she brought the energy, and needless to say, her background in business definitely was what sold us. It was definitely a good tactic, having Alice as the kind of front woman to really engage with folks in the community. And she also definitely had a soft spot for young people in the community as well. She definitely always made sure to encourage us to follow our endeavors, and also, more importantly, to follow our educational endeavors. She was definitely a tiger mom, and she always made sure to push education, but at the same time in a manner that was so loving and genuine. And she made sure that not only were we pursuing education and opportunities in the community, but also making sure that what we were pursuing and what we were interested in was truly what we wanted for ourselves. And I think having that sort of parental figure throughout our early stages of life, especially going through revitalization, it was definitely pivotal for a lot of us, because we're now proud to say that we can carry on her legacy, carry on her values, her lessons, and her principles with a generation of young people who were able to benefit from her generosity and her mentorship and leadership, to going on to pursuing our careers and also pursuing on our personal endeavors, whatever they may be.
I can't begin to tell you, what she was to us and how we felt about her. She just brought joy to everything she did, and she brought joy toward this community. We knew that she really cared about our people. She cared about people in TCHC. She cared about people living in the market buildings. She cared about the entire community. And as a TCHC representative, she did you proud. She did you proud. And she was a remarkable human being. She must have been a remarkable wife and mom. And I feel so awful for her family in what they've lost. And I can just say thank you for sharing her. She was an incredible woman that we'll never forget.
A few words. I'm Keela. I had the pleasure of working with Alice probably over the last 10 years, save and except the last couple. And, very saddened by the news, but as soon as I think of Alice, I can picture her, and she's walking down the street, as Vivian described, just bubbling with joy and energy. And so to hear about the work ethic and how organized she was, that must have been all under the surface, because when you met her, You had no idea she was tired or stressed. She was present, she was smiling, and the way I would describe her was like bubbly, which was really, really amazing to encounter often in difficult situations in community. The other piece that really sticks out for me with Alice, and Barry noted this, and I thought it was an unspoken thing, but if you ever needed anything done and you needed Julio to do something, you knew to go to Alice. Like, it was just unspoken, and I think it's something we all figured out as we started working with them. So to hear stories about her today, to learn more about her past and her family, is amazing, and it's tough to do it after the fact and not when we can express to her how much she really did mean to us. It reminds me that we need to do that all with each other much more often. And so Alice, thank you, and I know you're talking to people wherever you are, being just as bubbly.
I actually used to work with Alice in Regent Park. Funny story, I first met Alice 8 years ago, and it's when my brother Rabbi was with Vivian in RYA, and we just moved to a new townhouse like literally yesterday, and I was putting up the curtains to my shower, and when I look behind me, I see Alice for the first time, and she's like, "Hello, I'm Rabbi's Alice Mama, nice to meet you." And that was my first encounter with her. I was putting a shower curtain up. But fast forward 2 years later, I started in the Regent Park Revive team as an intern. I met Alice, and the first thing she said to me is, "I am your second mom, and I will take care of you forever." And she did. I'm standing here because of her. And she's done so much for me. I know a lot of us express she did so much for us professionally and in our personal lives as well. She is my second mom. She's our tiger mom. And she's just amazing. I know everyone had only positive encounters with her. And I know she'll forever be here for us as well. So I know she's right here with us. She's looking down on us, and she's always letting us know she'll be with us forever and forever and forever. But yeah, just wanted to say on behalf of everyone here, we love you, Mama.
I knew Alice as like a colleague first, and then very quickly it was clear Alice was much more than a colleague. If you shared space with her, she became a friend, a mentor, a confidant, and I think the things that I always remember about her are when I first started working here in Regent Park, I shared a space with her, and it became very quickly apparent to me that this was not just going to be a relationship of a colleague, that she was constantly showing up for you in ways you never even needed to ask. And you never honestly thought a colleague would show up for you that way, especially when you start in like a new workplace. And I was lucky enough to work with her for 5 years and share space with her right here, spending my days together, 10, 20 feet away from each other. And the relationship that I think I was able to build with her, and I think everyone here was able to build with her, and the folks who we shared that space with together, was really unique. And I think that it wouldn't have been the same without Alice. She really was the linchpin in building community amongst us, everyone here, amongst the work that she did, and her just energy and presence is something that I'm really going to carry with me. And when anyone ever had something going on in their lives, personally, professionally, she really made sure to show up for you, check in with you. And when I had things going on in my life, she was one of the biggest champions for me, supporting me, making sure I was cared for, pushing me to sort of do the right thing, to take time to take care of myself and my family. And I think those are the things that I'm really going to take away when I think about Alice, and when I think about the time I spent here, it was a job, it was work, and the memory and the feeling I have associated with the years I spent in this space with many of the folks here, it's it was much more than like a job. It was much more than collegial relationships. And it's something that I hope to be able to sort of emulate and bring with me and carry with me, that light, that energy, and just that warmth that she brought with us.
I want you all to remember the impact she had on us individually, the impact she had on this community, right? She wasn't part of the redevelopment. She made herself part of it. She made herself indispensable. But more than that, she left us who thought we knew what we were doing and had directions written for us to do. It's these kinds of moments and these kinds of people who make the exercise and experiment we are engaged in redeveloping this community what it is. So without any further ado, I'm asking and challenging you as we go through the last phases of this redevelopment to remember the kinds of people that engaged in this exercise and the context in which they engaged in this exercise. They weren't doing it for themselves. They were doing it for the respect, the honor, and the dignity of doing something well, because that's the most we can offer and do in all of our lives. So, on that note, to Alice Lee, may her memory live on and be cherished by all of us.
Regent Park demands road safety after fatal crosswalk crash. On July 15th, 2024, a local resident, Bilhis Khanam, a 42-year-old woman, was pregnant and was struck and killed by a car at the intersection of Queen Street East and Sackville. This intersection had previously been identified as unsafe. Bilhis was at the crosswalk when she was struck by a vehicle driven by a 7-year-old man. It was reported that the driver remained at the scene. The unborn child also passed away. Area resident and member of the Regent Park Social Development Plan, Walid Khudali Ali, shared his feelings about how the community has been affected by the passing of Bilhis and the child.
First of all, I believe I speak for many Regent Park residents that we are very saddened by this tragedy. We lost both Sister Bilkis and her potentially newborn child. And those are two souls that we've lost through a tragic accident, a second in just years. Many of you might remember that we had another tragedy on Dundas Street that we hope that will never happen again. I just want to, pass on my condolences to the broader community. I was at the Janaza, which is the prayers that Muslims make to ask our Creator to ensure that the souls of those that have passed on are blessed and find eternal peace. We had hundreds of our neighbors attend that Janaza at Nelson Mandela Public School, and that speaks to how beloved she was and how beloved her family is. One of her daughters actually worked with the Regent Park Neighborhood Association, and we're very fond of her. And our prayers and thoughts are with her and her siblings. It's a tragedy that we hope will never happen again. And we're going to take every step we can that's humanly possible to prevent another tragedy in our community that could be avoided.
Additionally, Walid delved into the ongoing issues surrounding community safety at intersections in the neighborhood, and how residents are working to ensure that the City of Toronto provides adequate measures at troubled spots in the neighborhood.
We've done safety audits in the past. The safety audits were led by not just the safety network, members of the safety network of the Regent Park Social Development Plan, but board members of the Regent Park Neighborhood Association. I believe Brother Zahid and other volunteers have petitioned our municipal government to, specifically the City of Toronto, to introduce specific traffic lights at crossing intersection to slow down traffic. We've seen the success of the one on Dundas Street, which has had an impact, and we hoped more of those examples will be implemented in the City of Toronto, but specifically around our neighborhood. We see them effective in other neighborhoods, whether it's in Parkdale or St. Jamestown, and we know speed kills. We know that if our pedestrians had more access to information about the importance of crossing at designated crosswalks, if our drivers were educated on how speed kills and how it's important to drive under the speed limit, and most importantly, if our city government took the petitions that were collected by our neighbors very seriously to reduce the speed limits on very populated intersections because of the high density of introduced due to this redevelopment, that we could avoid some of this tragedies. I think we need to consider the speed limits. We need to consider the signage. This is what I've heard from members of Toronto Police Services, that although they ticket drivers for going over the speed limit, sometimes they don't see those signs. So I think it's behooves us to do the responsible thing, and which is take every measure that is possible to prevent another tragedy. This hits very close to home, and we've lost too many lives.
Man injured after police shooting in Cabbagetown. On July 23, 2024, a man was seriously injured in a police shooting in Cabbagetown, Toronto. The incident occurred around 7:15 p.m. at Carlton and Parliament Streets. According to Toronto Police, the man armed with a knife was shot by an officer and has been hospitalized. The province's Special Investigations Unit, SIU, has taken over the investigation into the shooting. The SIU, which independently probes incidents involving police that result in serious injury or death, has confirmed the man's age as 32. Following the shooting, Carlton Street was closed between Parliament and Sherbourne Street as the investigation continued. The incident highlights ongoing concerns about violence in the city and the use of force by police.
Residents rally against Sherbourne Street development. A press conference outside City Hall saw residents of Sherbourne Street supported by community organizations like the Regent Park Neighborhood Association, voicing strong opposition to the proposed development at 191 to 201 Sherbourne Street. Led by a group of concerned residents, the conference highlighted issues such as insufficient community meetings, lack of information updates, short notice for meetings, and delayed documentation. Other media outlets attended the press conference, amplifying the residents' call for the City Council to review the application on October 9, 2024, to ensure proper information dissemination and community involvement.
Homeowners and residents of Sherbourne Street are expressing grave concerns over the proposed development at 191-201 Sherbourne Street, citing a significant lack of community consultation and transparency. The development proposed by Fitzrovia on behalf of Ontario Holding Limited and AMCO, which is an Alberta Investment Management Corporation, threatens to irreversibly impact the community and its residents' quality of life.
So I live in the street and own a property right in the Seton Street, and the whole street will be detrimentally affected by this development in its current form. There are many issues: traffic issues, parking issues, induced winds, blocking of natural light. And this development is appalling from the point of view of architecture and city planning. It goes against everything the city of Toronto planned for the area, against the garden area development plans, against the Sherbourne and Dundas rejuvenation plans. Essentially, the fact that the planning office of the city of Toronto agreed to this development, by this act, they throw everything into the garbage what they did themselves, right? So now there was no consultation whatsoever on the behalf of the city. We had only one meeting last year, which was held in September, right after the long weekend, over Zoom. Community expressed concerns. Nobody spoke in favor of this development. And I personally thought that this development proposal is dead on arrival. But 1 year later, as Walid expressed, suddenly we are presented with hundreds of pages of documents which essentially are without a change the proposed development with all its detrimental effects.
Community and tenant consultations, as much as they are called consultations, they are really more of an information sharing session. Very rarely do we see any feedback that is given from the community or from the tenants to actually be a part of the project. And this means that they are not meaningful consultations. And that is one thing that No Dem Evictions and that many housing advocates ask for, which is just meaningful consultations for our voices to not just be listened to, but to be heard and to be taken into consideration. We are the people who are living in the community. We know more what the community wants and what the community needs, rather than developers who have no interest in our community outside of profits.
If in fact this project goes ahead, directly across the street from me, which now exists 2 high-rise towers, they want to put 2 additional towers on the same site with access from this quiet little road called Seton Street. We have 2 young children on our street, and I can't imagine the amount of traffic that will ensue if this project goes ahead. Let's just say no to rampant development.
Affordable housing opens for unhoused Indigenous men in Toronto. On July 22nd, 2024, a new chapter in affordable housing began with the opening of 9 studio units for Indigenous men experiencing homelessness. The units located at 218 Carleton Street in Cabbagetown were created from the renovation of a historic 1877 Victorian mansion by Mod Developments. The project will be operated by Native Men's Residence NAMI Res. This initiative provides culturally sensitive housing and essential support services for Indigenous men who represent 15% of the homelessness population in Toronto, despite being only 0.5% of the city's residents. The ribbon-cutting ceremony was attended by Mayor Olivia Chow, Councillor Chris Moyse, and NAMI Res Executive Director Steve Teekins, who emphasized the importance of culturally appropriate support. This project is the first of 3 builds aimed at addressing the homelessness crisis faced by Indigenous people.
Remembering Louis March, a champion for gun violence prevention and community empowerment. Regent Park and the broader Toronto community mourn the loss of Louis March, a timeless advocate for enduring gun violence, who passed away on July 20th, 2024, at the age of 68. March, a longtime resident of Scarborough, dedicated over 3 decades of his life to empowering youth and fighting for safer neighborhoods. In 2013, March founded the Zero Gun Violence Movement, a campaign that evolved into a long-term initiative working with over 40 community organizations to address the root causes of gun violence. His mission focused on education, advocacy, and engagement, striving to build safer and healthier communities. March's influence was profoundly felt in Regent Park, where he actively engaged with residents and local organizations. He frequently collaborated with Regent Park TV and participated in youth-led radio shows at the Focus Media Arts Centre Radio Regent, inspiring young voices to tackle social issues. As the community reflects on its remarkable life, there is a collective resolve to carry forward his mission with the same passion and dedication that he exemplified every day.
Now for events and jobs in the community. The Evaluations and Benchmarks Committee has launched the 2024 SDP survey, inviting all residents to contribute to their insights. Your input will help shape and enhance the SDP's initiatives. To participate and share your thoughts, please go to the link below. Join the Regent Park Cultural Bazaar 2024 every Friday until September 6th from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Regent Park Boulevard. Experience a vibrant celebration of community diversity with music, raffles, henna, jewelry, clothes, and delicious multicultural food. Taste of Regent Park returns. Join every Wednesday from July 3rd to September 4th, 2024 from 5 to 8 p.m. at the Big Park. Discover local artisans, foods, vendors, and community organizations. New Taste of Regent Park Market Bucks offers subsidized foods supporting local entrepreneurs. Enjoy diverse foods and community connections. Youth art contests. Share your vision from TCHC Toronto Community Housing. TCHC invites youth aged 12 to 18 from across Toronto to participate in an art contest, envisioning a thriving and supportive community. This is a unique opportunity for Regent Park youth to showcase their creativity and impact TCHC's strategic plan for 2025 to 2029. Submit your original audio, craft, drawing, photo, painting, writing, or video by August 16th, 2024. For details, visit the TCHC website, email digitalcoms@torontohousing.ca. Thunder Woman Healing Lodge Society invites you to celebrate International Overdose Awareness Day with a hot dog lunch at 413 Dundas Street East from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. On Saturday, August 31st, hope to see you there. The Children's Book Bank in Regent Park offers free books for kids. All children and families are welcome. And that was all for the events in the community, and hope to see you there.
And that's all for today's show. My name is Gabriel, and I've been joined by my co-hosts Jabin and Thundercloud. A big thank you to our dedicated team of researchers who contributed to this week's episode. From our studios at Focus Media Arts Centre, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And please follow our social media platforms. For more information, check out our website,